Hello, sweet parents. Welcome to the When Our Adult Children Walk Away podcast. My name is Dr. Janet Steinkamp, and during each episode of When Our Adult Children Walk Away, I will provide my professional and personal insights, information and opportunities for your self-reflection and growth, tips and tricks to make every day count, and encouragement to keep moving forward. I'm here to help you dig deep and get down to the root causes so that you can find your way out of the darkness to a positive and lasting relationship. Grab your notebook and a pen, settle into your favorite chair, and let's get to it. In today's episode, When Tradition Meets Transition, we're going to look at these upcoming winter holidays that often bring us joy and warmth and connection. In the face of estrangement, that is often not the case. There is an episode about high-risk days, and I'd invite you to go out and listen to those episodes about how to actually navigate the holidays and not lose your mind, how to prepare for the inevitable when you hear other people talking about your adult child and you don't know what they're talking about, when you're left out. There are all kinds of things and high-risk days around the winter holidays that you need to navigate. And so I'd like you to go listen to those episodes and consider how to do that. In this episode, though, we're talking about why the holidays feel different, the meaning behind tradition, the grief of change, when connection becomes possible again, and reflection and renewal. So let's go back and we're going to start with the why the holidays feel different. To begin with, holidays highlight family connection, belonging, tradition. It makes estrangement particularly obvious, and it's painful. It's just plain and simply painful. It's like the volume gets turned up on all the feelings and recognizing that somebody's missing from the table at a meal. Someone is not at a ceremony or a religious event. Estrangement during the holidays is amplified. All of the traditions, all the rituals can bring up memories of what's missing. Memories of what used to be and acknowledgement that it is no longer. Regardless of your circumstances, parents often describe two primary emotions: grief for what was and confusion about now what fits. How do we transition or modify the events that we've been a part of all of our lives? Our children have been a part of maybe all their lives for sure. And how do we make it fit now without our loved person with us? And again, if your relationship is not fully estranged, it may be that they're present, but they won't talk to you. They don't want to be close to you. They've set some rules about how to be at the same event. Again, go back and listen to those episodes about navigating high-risk days. So you may look around now as the holiday approaches and realize that your traditions no longer exist because the people, the roles, the relationships that once filled them, that were once a part of all these events, have changed. Now, from the adult child's perspective, many adult children tell us in our research, in our national and international surveys, that they feel conflicted too, that it's not a get out of jail free card just because they're not talking to us during the holidays. They also miss family. They miss the rituals. But they fear if they come back, they'll get drawn back into the emotional tension. Some avoid contact, not with the intention of punishing, but to protect their space. They've already gone through cutting ties or backing away or creating space. And to go back now and join those family festivities would make that happen all over again, and it would be salt in a wound, so they choose to stay away. Others may need time to reimagine what the family participation looks like, prepare themselves to be able to navigate those events in ways that they don't get caught up. Traditions are meant to serve relationships, not the other way around. And we also need to reimagine what the family participation in these traditions looks like. If the estranged child used to do a particular reading, and they're not there to do that reading, who's going to? Who steps in? All of those transitions that we have to face in the tradition of the holidays amplify our feelings and experience of estrangement. So what's the meaning behind these traditions? Why do we even have them? And why do we need them? mean, wouldn't it be better if they just didn't happen? No, I disagree that they would be better. It is worth understanding what the meaning is behind them. Traditions aren't just events. They are emotional anchors. They anchor us to a faith, a belief, a family member, a event that happened in the past. Maybe it's a celebration of someone's passing and celebration of life. Whatever the tradition is we're talking about, it is an emotional anchor. It symbolizes belonging. It gives identity and it provides continuity. Well, that gets blown out of the water, right? Because there is no continuity. You don't feel like you belong, and continuity is gone. Poof, gone. When those rituals and traditions change or they disappear altogether, I had a mom say to me a year or so ago, I think we're just not going to do Thanksgiving this year. We're going to cancel Thanksgiving. Well, you can cancel the dinner. You can cancel the people coming in from out of town. But Thanksgiving goes on, and we are reminded of it everywhere, and all the stories, and who's making turkey this year and who's bringing green beans. You cannot escape these major events. We need to recognize what each tradition represented to us, to our family, to other people who are involved. What did it mean to them? Love, connection, stability, joy, the laughter that comes with being together and celebrating, and service, spirituality. These are all aspects of various holidays and traditions of the season. And by the way, this is also true throughout the year. This time of year, it is definitely accentuated because of the rapid occurrence of key celebrations. This isn't just in the US or in the European countries, Oceania, Australia, New Zealand. This is true for all of the countries. Every culture has celebrations, rituals, and traditions. So take the information we're talking about today and apply it to your own circumstances, your own culture. If I speak about a religious practice, modify that to fit your culture, your lifestyle. It's helpful to go back to the very basics. What did this tradition give me emotionally? And how might I recreate that feeling in a different way? We can keep the meaning of the holiday, the event, the cultural activity, tradition, ritual, without duplicating the events. Here are some examples. Predominantly, every Sunday we have a family meal, and whoever can come, comes. And who can't come, there's no hard feelings. It's an open door, people know, and they come and go as it works for them. So let's say these family dinners represent connection. We invite new friends, people who don't usually come. They're outside that inner circle. We invite them to come share the meal. That is a difference in how we host or experience the tradition of family dinner. Again, if we go with that example. So it changes for people, but the meaning is still the same. Connection. We might meet new neighbors. We might meet a coworker of one of our kids. We can open the door. There are times when some of us would like to just have it be our family members, and we may have that happen and it may not. We have to be flexible in that. So let's say there's an event where there are gifts involved. You open gifts together. That means generosity. We give to other people and we accept gifts from them. So maybe instead of exchanging gifts, you find a volunteer opportunity and you donate in your children's honor. I did this the second Christmas. My daughter was not in connection with the family or in contact with the family. I went out and shopped like I always shop for Christmas. And I love to shop for Christmas. Bought the same gifts that I would give them if I had just talked to them the day before. And a week before Christmas, I gathered it all up, wrapped it, and delivered it to a local charity who there were families that could benefit from these gifts. So in a way, it was honoring my daughter and her family and helping someone else. And you know, when she came back and figured this out, we talked about it and she learned of this, she was so grateful to think that she was honored in that way, that her family was recognized in that way. I was surprised. She really thought that that was meaningful to her, something to consider. Again, you modify that for your situation and circumstances. So if there is a family worship or reflection, and that brought peace in the past, keep that spiritual rhythm in solitude or in community, but modify how you are involved, when and where you are involved, so it fits your needs in real time. Again, go listen to those 3 episodes about high-risk days and how to navigate that. When transition meets tradition, it's not an ending, it's an evolution to something new. It's an evolution to a new way of doing something. That comes with its own level of grief. So the third point that we're going to make in this episode is that grief of change, acknowledging that reimagining the holidays can feel like betraying the past, betraying your generations that brought these traditions to be. There are times you think, am I really going to be the person that changes this tradition in our family after generations of eating lefse on Christmas Eve or whatever food it is you might eat? Am I going to be the one that doesn't do that? Well, you might be. It might be the necessary step that you need to take. One of the awkward and kind of odd things that happens when traditions meet this transitional phase of estrangement is that grief comes into the picture. Grief. Raw, hardcore grief, sadness, pain. That's not generally a natural part of traditional celebrations and rituals. It's not unusual that someone may have lost a spouse or a partner or a child to death. The unusual part is that this is a living death, an ambiguous grief. There is no conclusion that we can see coming. And so we work to find ways to make it fit for us in a way that we can experience our grief, but not aggravate the grief. You may meet resistance from people in your family, in the folks that usually participate in the event that you're facing in these next few months. You might meet resistance from people who don't want to make a change. It may be that people send messages like, if you make this change, you're giving in. Don't change a thing on their account. They don't deserve it. If they wanted to be here, they could be here. Just forget about them. If they want to step away, that's their choice. Don't let them punish you. Now, in some ways, that's kind of self-serving for them. They don't want the change in the events. And then, though, you get to decide, do you go forward with the changes on your own independently, or do you come up with a compromise where some things might change and others you still honor? It takes confident conversation. And during estrangement, we don't necessarily feel like we can manage confident conversation. So there are the strategies in those other episodes that can help you navigate that. Another thing that happens in estrangement is that typically both parties, the parent and the adult child, feel pain, loss. They don't want to talk about it with people. It's embarrassing. They don't want to be the family that has this problem, either one of you, either one of us. So it's difficult to talk about and find ways to acknowledge it, be authentic and real with people, but not talk through all the details. If you're working with me as a coaching client, you know what I mean when I say, remember the dishwasher repair person. They are people we need in our life. They are people we want in our life. We need to have them on speed dial. They don't get to know all the details, all the intricacies. It's not good for them to know because you lose control of the message. And every time you tell that story from beginning to end, you begin to re-traumatize yourself. So remember to use the dishwasher repairman as your concept of the depth of sharing in the middle of these rituals and traditions. Give yourself space and time to grieve the old tradition, acknowledge the loss, and make space for the new meaning to take root. Grief is not the end of love. It's proof that the relationship was real and can be real again. The fourth topic that we want to talk about is the survival strategies. So redefining and rebuilding meaning in this new circumstance. Start small. Choose one ritual that still feels grounded and joyful to you and doesn't step forward with grief. It steps forward with those same feelings of joy and grounding. Something that connects you to your values, maybe, not your pain. An example might be baking a special dish, taking it to work for the potluck, maybe lighting a candle in the evening, where you've lit candles before in your celebrations, but now you're lighting them privately in your own space. Remember that familiarity offers comfort in tradition. It's the known. It gives you a break from the unknown and the unexpected. We want to create new traditions that reflect growth. We want to give meaning to their absence. I know lots of people who set the table for their big celebrations and they keep a chair for the person who's missing. For one thing, we never know if they might show up. And I've heard of situations where the adult child walks in at the last minute, sits down at the table, and enjoys the celebration with everyone. At the end, they disappear and the estrangement is right back in the same place. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. The other thing is that honoring their presence says, we have not forgotten them. This is happening in real time. It is an evolutionary process in a relationship. Estrangement is an evolution of a relationship. Another example is to practice permission-based planning. So you give yourself permission to say no if at the last minute you don't want to go or you can't get yourself to a spot where you can be joyful or at least neutral by participating in an event. Give yourself permission to say yes to something new, to something traditional that you want to be a part of, regardless of how sad it might make you feel. And nurture yourself, treat yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't force yourself. Flexibility is emotional maturity. It's wisdom, not avoidance. Flexibility is key to protecting yourself and also maintaining the connections around you. The holidays invite reflection on gratitude, generosity, and hope, and we can have those in the face of estrangement. Our lives are turned upside down. We can hardly breathe sometimes. Grounding ourselves in gratitude, generosity, and hope strengthens us in the face of estrangement. It builds resilience. So this year, you don't have to match the past to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be the same. You can match where you are right now with how you manage and host and attend and participate in different events, ceremonies. Another thought that comes to mind is if there is, let's say there's a midnight service or ritual in a place of worship that you attend with friends and family. And this year you really want to go, but you want to worship by yourself or participate alone. Attend a different place of worship. Go to a new place of worship. You don't have to tell anybody you're doing that. You can still participate and honor your feelings and get your cup filled in those experiences and not have to navigate the family or friends that you usually would. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Find creative ways to feed yourself in these holidays and also not starve yourself. We have 2 sections left. The next section is when connection becomes possible again, right? We hope maybe somebody shows up for one of these traditions and they speak to you. They come and say, "Hi, Mom, I just want you to know I've missed you." Now, they're not saying all is forgiven, everything's great, let's go back to the way it was. They're saying, "I miss you. Take the gift and give one in return. You know, I've really missed you too. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to see each other. Period." Put a bow on it and then let the chips fall. See where it takes you after that. We get greedy as parents. We get desperate as parents. Oh my gosh, they've reconnected. I need more, more, more. Rarely does asking for more get you to more connection. It feels like old messaging. So last but not least, reflection and renewal. You get to decide what traditions you keep, adapt, or retire. You get to decide what and how you feel in this time, in this season. What are you craving? What do you desire? What do you feel gratitude about? What can you give generously? Not things, but feelings, prayers, well wishes. You can say silent gratitudes to your adult child and not lose. It's a gift, and it is giving, and it is winning. It is mature, it is reflective, and it's love. And isn't that what we miss during the holidays? It's that love, that presence. You can manage that for yourself and be creative, be compassionate with yourself, and have courage. There's nothing easy about estrangement, nothing easy about estrangement. The ability to be compassionate, give yourself grace, and have courage in the face of these holidays is really powerful, really powerful. It can be your best friend and your saving grace to navigate these next few months in a way that demonstrates to others that you are emotionally mature, demonstrates to your adult child that you understand how you need to move forward and how you're leaving the light on, how they can come back to you when they're ready. So to summarize, I want to say that the holidays are changing, but the meaning remains. So in the face of estrangement, yes, the holidays are changing. They are changed. The meaning does not have to change. Hold on to the meaning and anchor yourself in that. Carry love forward. Give your love generously. You can trust your love. Just because you've been told all the different things that can be said, you scarred me, you traumatized me, your love was a joke, you don't know how to love, you're too selfish, all those messages that might have come to you, you don't have to give them life. There is work to do around them to understand where that kernel of truth might be, but the holidays are not necessarily the time to do that work. Tradition isn't about perfection. It's about connection. And connection begins with you. We need to get ourselves ready for opportunities to reconnect so we can respond with joy, with grace, with love, and not with guilt and painful statements and tit for tat. Don't go there. Stay with the gratitude and generosity and courage of the season. If you want to talk about this more deeply in your circumstances, jump over to the When Our Adult Children Walk Away website. That's whenouradultchildrenwalkaway.com, and schedule an appointment with me if that would be helpful. I'm happy to discuss this further with you and start creating strategies and a plan to navigate these holidays. If this was of benefit to you, if you got something out of this that was helpful, I invite you to share this resource with other people who you know may be experiencing some of these same degrees of estrangement and these painful relationship fractures. It's difficult to find reliable, valid resources, and I want to be that for people. If you have ideas of other episode topics that you would like to hear in the podcast, please send me a note about that. I'm always open to new ideas and suggestions. My last thoughts are that tradition does not have to end when estrangement begins. It may change form. It may change form temporarily. You may find new traditions and rituals and ways you want to celebrate that are different and you find more satisfying. By honoring what was, you release what no longer fits. You get to clean house. You get to reassess. That dish that somebody makes every year that nobody eats, stop making it. You get to control that. You get to decide. Create what nurtures your present and make space for healing, connection, hope. Recognize that you need and deserve some nurturing, grace, and space to walk through these holidays in a way that works for you. And remember, you are not alone.